Hey guys, Dave with First Place Auto Parts. Thanks for joining me in the studio today. You know, there is perhaps, as a car driver, no worse feeling than seeing the blinking blue lights in your rearview mirror and Johnny Laws on your bumper. You know what I mean? When you pass, you're on the interstate and you pass that cut through and you see that police officer sitting there, the thought hits you, I'm guaranteeing it. I know it hit me when I was younger, and sometimes now, is can I outrun this guy? And the reality is, police car technology has changed a lot over the years. And we're going to tell you in the video, what we're going to do is we're going to answer some of the questions about, are police cars truly faster than the cars you can buy off the dealer floor, you and I, and what kind of technology do police cars have now? They're going to make that a little less likely that you can actually outrun these guys. Look, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now, don't outrun the police. They're doing their job. It might stink when you get a ticket, but the reality is you're probably doing something wrong. But today's video, we're going to take a look at the police cars, look at kind of some of the history of it, but also the modern technology that's going to answer the question, can you outrun the police? So stay tuned. Now, the unfortunate reality is there have been bad guys and good guys since the beginning of time. Go check your Bible, Cain and Abel would come to mind, but the reality is God was the ultimate police officer in that, and they were outrunning anybody. But in today's era, we've had crime for a long time. Look, it was back in 1934 when Clyde Barrow of the Bonnie and Clyde gang actually wrote to Henry Ford thanking him for the speed and comfort of his 1934 V8 Ford. And it's just a reality that the police cars had to adapt and become faster and better equipped to handle the kind of rigors that a police car is put through on a daily basis. Look, these things could be flying through a ditch, they could be doing U-turns, they could be doing high-speed pursuits, or they could sit there idling for extended periods of time. Look, the odometer on a police car is sometimes less important than an hour meter on a police car. And the technology has changed to keep up with not only the bad guys, but to make it safer when pursuing people that are trying to outrun the law. The police interceptor, the idea of a police car that is just that much quicker than what we can buy at the showroom floors, has always intrigued me. Look, in Mad Max, when they famously declared that it was the last of the V8 police interceptors in the Mad Max, the first Mad Max movie, like these things have always held an allure. Plymouth was really big in the mid-60s, especially with the 65 and the 69 Belvedere Pursuit vehicle, where they started to really infuse a lot of horsepower. Look, horsepower allowed top speed increases. In the 65 Plymouth, they could go 129 miles an hour, and by 69, it could go 147 miles an hour top speed. Now at that point they were probably pushing tire technology, but the pursuit vehicles that Plymouth was offering to the police forces gave the police forces at least a level hand in regards to speed wise with the bad guys. But right around 1970 is when that horsepower thing, especially because compression ratio started to be affected by 73, that the really fast muscle cars, but also the really fast police cars started to taper down a little bit. It's not until the 1993, the Ford 5-liter Mustang, the notchback, became very prevalent as the specialty vehicle for the state highway patrols. Look, those things are still cool to this day, but I remember seeing those cars, and Ford at the time was really on their game with the Mustang and the 5-liter motor. And dude, it never even hit me in my imagination to outrun the police. Those things just looked bad to the bone. They looked serious. Like there were no pretenses about taking you to jail in that car, but they sure as heck were going to catch up to you. In most of your police cars, it's a little bit of a fallacy to think that they actually had more horsepower. Look, a police car really, because of what we talked about earlier with that severe duty use, typically it was built more heavy duty, which means it added weight. Things like larger brakes, enhanced cooling systems with larger radiators, and certainly as technology and radios came along and became more and more pronounced in regards to what was inside the police cars, higher output alternators, which have a large amount of drag compared to a standard alternator to keep the battery or batteries plural charged. So a lot of what was done to the police cars in the early to mid 60s had to do with handling stiffer springs, stopping safely, larger brakes, and also electronically in regards to the ability to support the ever-increasing loads electronically that came from all the radios and the lights and all the other devices that they had in police cars back then, or they were adding to these things. It added 1,000 pounds. Look, these cars were anywhere from 3,800 to 4,000 pounds off the showroom floor. By the time you put all the radios and the guns and everything else in them, you could have a 4,500 pound or 4,500 pound plus car rolling down the highway, getting that thing going fast, took all the horsepower you could get Getting it to stop took a lot of brakes, and getting it to handle at high speed took some stiff suspension springs. So yes, police interceptor cars up to the 70s were very specialized. They were great cars, and that's why you see so many of them being used as taxis in a later stage of life when they got sold off by the police departments. They were made for a lot of extended use and also for idling for long periods of time so they wouldn't overheat. So much of the technology that's infused, you've got really three different segments. One is the performance of the vehicle, or the enhanced performance, if you will, and really it has to do with safety. The second is the internal things that they've done to the police cars to make them not only safer for the occupant, for the driver and the police officer, but also easier to maintain. And the third, well, that has to do with the actual technology itself. Look, technology has changed a lot. Originally I asked the question, can you outrun the police? The reality is, technically, if you're on a motorcycle or it's a very tight area, you could. Many states have laws now where they don't pursue people that are speeding away, but they don't have to with the modern technology. But you just can't really reliably outrun the police. If you have a license plate on your car, they're gonna know who you are and they're gonna find you. So guys, please don't do it. But it is interesting to see how things have morphed from performance-wise, big engines and top speed, although the speed never really went above 150 miles an hour in regards to its capability across the board of all the years of vehicle. But really it got to be the police work smarter and they work safer. And that keeps everybody else on the road safer as well. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video today. Next time you see a police officer, make sure you thank them for what they do. Look, these guys protect us, but also respect the vehicles they drive, because the reality is you may think you can outrun them, but you can't. Eventually, they're gonna get you. Guys, until next time, keep the hammer down and keep it between the guardrails.